we've been doing some crabbing. And so far we have a few Dungeness, one female, mostly male, one red rock, and one keeper Dungeness and one keeper red rock. And
now by keeper, you mean a recreational keeper, is that right?
Exactly. Can you hold this, Nick? We have these rulers, and in Oregon, a keeper for a Dungeness crab is 5 3/4. So we measure in between the points here with this ruler, and we keep the males, which has a narrow abdomen, as opposed to the female, which has a more broad abdomen. Whoop, we're holding eggs.
Yeah,
so
pretty lively there. All right, we're going to move around a little bit over here, and we're going to talk to Mike Lane. Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you
Great.
very much for bringing your lovely boat out here. What's the name of your boat, Mike?
The Morning Star.
The Morning Star. Very good. And what is the Morning Star? How would you describe this boat? This is not just a pleasure boat.
This is a commercial fishing boat. It's about 35 foot long and draws about 4 feet of water here. It's set up for crabbing and for salmon fishing, which I'm doing at the moment here. Crab season is not open right now. It will be open in December. But I did bring some pots and some things along to kind of show you what we do when we're crabbing.
Now, I have to ask, in December, so that means that it's real calm and placid out there when you're doing this crabbing?
Don't we wish. Yes,
it doesn't work
I
that
don't
way,
know.
huh?
Somebody who didn't like fishermen decided apparently to set the season up in December because
move the crabs
it's the worst time of the year.
Yeah, a little bit rough out there.
Yeah.
So then, you don't take recreational pots out there. What do you take?
No, these are commercial pots here, and they weigh in the neighborhood of 100 pounds. So we don't pull them up by hand like the sports people do here. We use a hydraulic hauler right here. It's run with hydraulics, and what we do is we run up to the buoys that are in the ocean already, and I usually grab it with a buoy stick like this, reaching over the side, and the pot wouldn't be here normally. But then you put this put the rope in the hauler and turn on the hydraulics, and this will pull the pot up without me having to do it by hand, and then we can land the pot here on the deck without having to break our backs doing it.
This seems like kind of dangerous work.
Pardon?
Would you say this is dangerous work?
It's considered dangerous work, yes it is.
Yeah.
But everything's dangerous if you're not careful, so we try and be as careful as possible. After the pot reaches the deck here, usually there's another person standing on the other side there with me. We open it up here and take the crabs out. Now the little crabs will come in for the bait as well as the big crabs, but because of the mesh size and these escape rings right here on both sides, it allows the small sublegal crab to crawl out. So by the time we get around to pulling these pots, there are mostly legal crab or crab that are just a little bit maybe under the legal size. So we use a measure to measure those crabs. And our limit is a ½ an inch larger than the sport limit, so those sport crabs wouldn't necessarily be big enough for us to keep.
Would the sport crabs maybe make it out the escapement rings?
They would.
Or? Yeah, they would.
Most of the sport crabs, all the little ones, so by the time we pull this pot, we don't have all the little crabs. All the females, we don't keep females either. They all go back.
Now you've got some pictures there, so you can kind of show what's in action. Gang, if you want to come over and see this, tell us what these are about, Mike.
Well, this is a picture of a fellow who's pulled the pot already and set it on deck, and you can see the crabs inside there. You can see how the rope is run through the hauler here. So he's used it to haul the pot. Okay. And then he's putting the crab into a crab tank, actually. Here's another picture, similar picture of him taking them out of the pots. And this is actually a picture of the guys delivering crabs. This is a large tank on a larger vessel who has come in with a full tank of crabs. Normally that tank would be full of water also because the crabs need oxygen to survive. So what they do is they keep this pumped full of fresh seawater running through it constantly until they fill their tank up, or until they have to come in because of weather or whatever. And then they come to the plant and they unload the crabs, haul it up so that they can dump them into this bucket, and then send them up to the plant so they can process the crab. We also send a lot of crab live to the marketplace, so we try and keep them live in live tanks, and some people prefer it that way. So
now some people pick the flesh out of these crabs and sell that, but that sells for quite a bit more money than the whole crab.
Yes, they process it. They'll take the back off and they'll cook the crab, and then they'll pick the crab out just for the meat. And oftentimes you can go into restaurants, and if you get crab cocktails, that's what you're getting, is the meat that's been picked out of the crabs.
Can I ask a silly question?
Sure.
What is that big arm sticking out of the side of the boat?
That is a pole over there, and I've set that out just so you can see the working position of the poles. When you come down to the docks, sometimes you always see these boats with all these poles up in the air like this, and not really knowing what they're for. But actually, after we get out into the bay and start heading out to sea, we drop these poles out here so that we can use them not only for fishing, for salmon fishing, to send our salmon gear out so that we can spread the gear out, but also to help stabilize the boat. Actually, this piece right here, I can show you as a stabilizer. This is connected by this chain out here on the end of the pole on that side, and when we put this in the water, it acts like kind of like an airplane would. It kind of pulls down and digs into the water so that when the boat wants to lean to one side, that stabilizer will help hold the other side of the boat down, and then when it goes to the other side, this stabilizer will try and pull down and hold it the other way. So they stabilize the motion of the boat a little bit.
Fighting back and forth. And how many people typically crew your boat?
Well, on my boat here, I just have one crewman with me. Usually, it's only the two of us. In most boats, larger boats, they have 3, sometimes 4 people on those boats, so they can move more gear.
Well, Mike, I wish we could stay here longer, but we've got to wish you luck for your season, and we'll see the morning stars sometime soon.
Great, thank you, Tom.
All right, take care.